is Josh here from Inside Wrestling Truth, and I have a special guest today in Josiah Caine. I've been wanting to interview Josiah for over a year now when I started doing interviews, and Josiah, I'm glad to have you on here, man.
I appreciate you having me.
First question is, tell us where you're from and how you got into the wrestling business.
Well, I was born a poor black man in the ghettos of Mississippi. No, I'm sure Sebastian probably already did that one. No, I was actually grew up in Louisville. Had a love for the business as far as watching it, like most of the kids did in this area, because of USWA. Never was real big in the whole WWF thing back in the day. You know, wasn't like a Hulkamaniac or nothing. But grew up watching the sport with, you know, Jerry Lawler, Austin Idol, Bill Dundee, you know, the guys that guys and I'm 38, guys in my age kind of grew up watching in Louisville anyway. And what was the second part? The how long I've been in the business?
Yeah, how did you get into the business?
How did I get into the business? Well, it was either, I want to say it was late 95, early 96. I got hooked up with Ian Rotten with IWA Mid-South in the old House of Hardcore, the original House of Hardcore out on Dixie Highway. Literally I got injured at work and was just coming off of a broken arm and 2 torn up shoulders, and then as a, you know, I guess I was 20 or almost 21, and oh, here we go, hey, let's get into professional wrestling. But needless to say, started out, like I said, at the old Kmart building on Dixie, and God, it's been a long time ago. I'm old.
How did your gimmick come about?
Well, the Josiah Caine, the actual gimmick, started out as an Amish character. The whole kit and caboodle, the suspenders, the having the beard, the whole kit, the whole ball of wax or whatever. And that was, I don't know, I can't even tell you what year it was that when I came up with it, but it worked really, really good, especially like down in Tennessee. It got over real big, and at that time the only really Amish character out there was Roadkill from ECW. Yeah. There wasn't, you know, you didn't have, it just wasn't anything that was around. And then I decided, because I made the name for myself, I decided I would just stick with the name, and it went from being the Amish Wonder Josiah Caine to, you know, being the Lost Cause or the psychosocial or the screwed up individual in the head that I am now. But yeah, but the Josiah Caine thing, because it sounded Amish, you know, that's the only reason I used it.
Who were some of the people in the business you came up with?
Well, I mean, you got, you know, Cash Flow came from the same environment. You know, Lenny, late great Rolling Hard. There were so many guys that would, you know, I'm trying to think who else that I could say, you know, as a name that, you know, I mean, we had times with, you know, where Bull Payne would come in there, or Tracy Smothers, or Chris Michaels, or, you know, whoever. But as far as like actually coming up with, at the beginning was, you know, Cash Flow, and then, like I said, there's other guys, but never really did anything in the business. They got into it, found out it wasn't all fun and games, and I guess got out of it.
What's been your bloodiest match?
Shit. Damn. The bloodiest match that probably sticks out in my mind, God, it would have been either MTWA or FTW down in the Cookeville, Tennessee area. And I did a lot of gimmick, or a lot of hardcore stuff down there, or extreme, or whatever you want to call it. Probably for FTW, it was probably myself, Chris Payne, and I don't even remember the other guy's name. We did a no rope barbed wire, in which were the week before that, or the show before that. Let's just say I was in the process of getting color, and couldn't get my gimmick to do what I wanted it to do, and when I finally had the said gimmick in my hand, getting ready to do what I needed to do, Chris hit my arm and literally took it from one end of my head to the other one, in which it was supposed to be just a little bit of blood, just a little bit of blood, make it look like we busted it, your eye got busted open. Cool. And it ended up being a gig going halfway across my forehead. But it's shit we do for the sport we love.
Yeah. What's been some of your favorite companies to work for?
Favorite companies to work for? I'll be completely honest with you. I can find good in just about any place I'm at, because I'm not a person that is all about drama or the he said she said bullshit. I don't like playing that. Back in the day, hell, it was BBW, or a lot of the companies that that we ran around with a little bit up in Indiana, in which a lot of those, hell, I can't even tell you what the name of the company is. But APW back in the day, of course I gotta say SWE, because I'm still there. But there's a lot of good people at different places, and it would probably be easier for me to tell you the companies that I think were run by a bunch of fucking morons than try to tell you ones that, because like I said, I'm not a person that's into the bullshit. I can pretty much get along with anybody.
Yeah. So
it's just kind of how it is for me.
Who's been some of the worst promoters you've worked for?
I'll be honest with you. I knew this question was coming, and I was even telling my wife that I didn't really want to. I don't want to get on here and bash anybody, or get on here and talk shit about certain individuals. However, when you put literally blood, sweat, and tears into building up a company, and then that company, for whatever reasons, decides that the local talent that made his company work, wasn't good enough, other than the ones that suck his ass, or kiss his ass when for whatever reason, I just, if you're gonna say you're a brother to somebody, you're gonna say you're your family or whatever, that's got some loyalty things, and I just, it's really fucked up, because my whole plan right now was to sit here and bash fucking David Rose that ran a promotion down in Bowling Green, and he was a complete fucking mark. Just a complete fucking mark. Had one of the best fucking locker rooms in Kentucky, but every fucking thing had to be about him. every fucking storyline had to be he had to be involved, and he had to be in the fucking middle of it. And he's a fucking piece of shit fat motherfucker that can't wrestle his way out of a wet paper bag, you know. And again, another one that right now is sitting at home watching these videos on YouTube, which, you know, that's perfectly fine. You can sit at home, but, you know, you ain't done shit in the wrestling business because you fucked everybody that you wanted to try to, you know, build your company up or whatever. Well, you fucked them over. You tell them, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then when time comes, it's all about you and your faggot-ass tag team partner. Not that there's anything with faggot-ass tag team partners. But, you know, I cheated. I looked at the questions. So I'm going to leave off the first promotion I was talking about until his name gets brought up later, about kind of fucking over the people that built your company. Stay tuned.
What guys in the business do you enjoy working with the most?
It all depends. You know, because it was, like I said, 95, 96, I mean, fuck, it's 18 years ago. I've been in there with just about anybody and everybody that's come through, you know, the Kentucky area. My most memorable matches, you know, Tracy Smothers is a fucking god in our business, and to be in the ring with him and just to learn from him, you know, whether you've been in the business for 15 years or you've been in the business for 5 years, you know, if you get an opportunity to be able to sit down and just let that man talk to you and pick from his brain or whatever, you know, it's in my opinion in this area, that's probably one of the best. You know, I've worked things with Bull Payne, which, you know, I love Bull Payne to death. He's a unique type of teacher. If Bull says he's going to do something and for you to stay down, you damn sure stay down. You don't move. And bringing up that, me and Sebastian were doing the Reckless Abandon tag gimmick, and we did it all over the place, here around Kentucky and up in Indiana and, you know, just fucking down in Tennessee, just all over. But we were working at a BBW show, and the main event spiel, you know, blase, and Bull Payne was going to come in at the end and just fucking lay everybody out, in which it is not hard to, you know, to believe. I mean, Bull Payne's this big biker looking motherfucker, you know, just, but, you know, he tells us in the back, and it's like me and Sebastian, and there's a couple other guys, like security guys that were there, and then the referee, and he's like, you know, when I hit you with the bat, I just hit you with the bat, you fucking stay down. And so we're sitting there, and I take you know, did what I was supposed to, take the big pop to the stomach, the boom to the back, I go to the mat, fucking roll to the floor. Sebastian does the exact same thing. We're sitting there, and of course, you know, we're selling, you ain't fucking moving, you know, you're just holding your stomach or wherever the fuck you just got hit. And I hear, I don't know if it was Todd or if it was the judge or somebody said, what's the referee doing? And then you hear Bull, that motherfucker. The referee, who just took the same hit that we did, fucking was getting up. And yeah, needless to say, that wasn't even more the reason of, you know, me and Sebastian, you just lay there and be like, I ain't moving until Joe comes and picks us up. And literally we lay there until, I mean, they'd already told the people the show was over, and we had fucking Joe Bailey and his brother or whoever, you know, picking us up and taking us to the back. I was like, I ain't fucking moving. I'm staying right here where I'm at. No. You know, I've been around enough. I had seen Bull, you know, actually, physically have to put his hands on somebody, yeah, hell no. No. I just stay down here on the ground in a fetal position and not move.
What legends have you worked with?
Working like directly with, in all reality, is probably not a whole lot. I mean, I've worked with Tracy. I've worked shows with Lawler. Worked quite a bit with Bill Dundee, and I mean, Coco Beware, or and of course you would ask that, my brain just goes completely fucking south. That's really fucked up. Oh, I'm the yeah, there's this guy that I know that used to manage me, and in all reality, I mean, I'm even though I'm babyface, I'm a closet fearhead. I'm straight up, the bitch child that never gets talked about because 90% of the places I go, this nuts fucking babyface, and can't go out and support the Fear Nation because 90% of the places they go, they're heel, and babies and heels aren't supposed to get along. But yeah.
Now, I did an interview with Sebastian.
Yeah.
And he said you're the stiffest guy he's ever worked with. Who's the stiffest guy you've ever worked with? In all reality, I have to say Sebastian, and the main reason is because when we're in there with each other, we push each other to the point to where, and we've said it, in talking before matches, dude, if one of us don't wake up in the morning sore, we didn't do our job. And we've rode the road so much together and spent so much time together since, he's been in the business, that in all reality, yeah, I mean, and I've taken ass beatings from the best of them, from Vic the Bruiser, from Bobo Brazil, from all of them. But with Sebastian, it's just because we fucking push and push and push, and neither one, or well, I speak for myself, I'm not one of these fucking flippy dippy motherfuckers. I want to go in there, I want to tell a story, I want to make it look as real as possible, and if it means that my eye's going to get busted open halfway through the match, and I look at Father Fear and he has no fucking clue what I'm talking about, but shit happens. So I mean, in all reality, as far as the stiffest person that, even if we went and worked each other right now, would probably be Sebastian. But I mean, there's, like I said, I've got my ass beat by the best of the best. What's your thoughts on Zodiac?
What's my thoughts on Zodiac? Another person that if they would have, if particular companies would have let us run the way we wanted to run it, it would have been fucking money, instead of worrying about their baby faces doing whatever, but another guy that we would flat out go out there and beat the ever-loving dog shit out of each other, and go to the back, get our fucking pissant payday, and laugh about it the next day on Facebook. Because we just beat the fuck out of each other, and in Kentucky, and we're going, yeah, don't show your lip, don't let that, or you see the pictures of our chest and it's literally just a handprint that hurt. But I mean, yeah, we'd flat out beat the shit out of each other. And as far as gimmick wise, gimmicks that I think is in our area right now, bar none. Simply because the amount that he puts into it, the differences between when he does Zodiac and when he does his other gimmick, it's, unless you know it's the same person, you would never fucking realize it's the same person. But yeah, we beat the shit out of each other a lot.
Who are some guys in the business you have heat with?
I can honestly tell you, to my knowledge, I don't have heat with a single person. And I might after this video gets uploaded, but I don't personally strive on heat from inner heat. I'm not, if I'm heel, yes, I want to get as much heat from the crowd as I can. But as far as heat with the boys in the locker room, in all reality, I'd rather, if me and somebody's got heat, I'd rather go out to the ring and us fucking throw down for a couple minutes and then it fucking be buried. Because it's just, there's no point in it,
Right. What has been your favorite match?
I'll be honest with you, you got me on some of these questions because they're not what I was expecting. My favorite match, I don't know. You would think that a independent wrestler is going to say, "Oh, when I won the whatever, I don't remember what the name of the company was. When I won their heavyweight title or whatever." But no, to me, any match that tells a story, that puts across what we're trying and what we strive to put across in this business, to pick out one, I don't really think I can. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I remember the first night I worked Pondo, and it was up in Evansville for New Focus. But I mean, there's just, or when Gypsy Joe beat my ass up in Austin, Indiana. I mean, there's a lot, and why I have shit coming back from questions you asked, whatever. But yeah, there's any match that A, that I get to walk away from, and B, that we can tell a good story. And my biggest thing is that if I can get done with the match, and whether it's my wife at the concession stand or it's somebody else, overhears somebody going, "Dude, what they look like they just beat this," I mean, it's when you get people, and as much in our business as kayfabe is kind of a distant relative anymore. It's not something that's really enforced. But to me, when I have somebody who has never seen either me work or never been to an independent wrestling show, and after the show, I'm talking to a couple of the fans before they leave, and the guy who's is a mark, but never knew where indie wrestling was in Kentucky, and he comes up and he's like, "Damn, that was, how the hell do you do it? Not, how do you make it seem like, what?" And I mean, that's not something I'm going to tell anybody, but anytime that we can, like I said, tell a story and even make the smart marks go, are you sure that looked awful real? Then I'm doing I'm doing what I want to do.
Right. What about your most violent match?
In all reality, and it was not a hardcore match. probably my most violent match was no, okay, it was it probably goes back to down in Tennessee, in some of the matches we did down there for Mike Promo and Mama Poston and some of the other promotions that we ran with down there. But yeah, because I mean well, shit, I say that, but up in Greenville, Indiana, we did the Weed Eater, and that kind of sucked. It sucked pretty bad. But I mean, we're idiots that were probably shouldn't have been wrestling at that point in time in the first place. Let's just say alcohol was involved, which, I was stupid and won't even dream of fucking doing that now. But yeah, I mean, there's a couple that Shepherdsville Fire Department's getting a fire running. So yeah, it's fucking real life.
Let's talk about the state of the business today.
Wow. For the most part, absolute drizzling shits. Complete, absolute drizzling shits. And I know it was fucking 18 years ago, 17 years ago when I started. But, as a greenhorn, you were the first motherfucker in the door, did everything, set up the ring, set up the chairs, fucking made sure the stuff was in the concession stand, did this, did that, did fucking everything. And then when the show was over, after the last of the marks left, you fucking stacked all the chairs up, you fucking loaded the ring back up, and then you swept and mopped the floor of whatever National Guard armory you were in. So, and nowadays, it's kind of turning into, it's all about that mighty dollar thing, to where, in my opinion, or at least back in the day, unless you had something that was fucking so far out there that it just made, Vince McMahon drop a load in his pants, chances are your first year and a half, you're counting fucking lights. You ain't getting pushed for shit. Mm-hmm. You're a fucking job boy. And of course nowadays it's, you hear about somebody who's getting put over for, the intergalactic blah 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 champion and fucking going over, a guy that's been in the business for 35 years, and this guy's been in the business for fucking 15 minutes, and they're, it's like I said, I mean, there are some guys that have it, but, this professional wrestling is like a gang. It's like a fucking mob. You get beat into it, and if and when you leave, if you're not going 6 feet under, you get beat out of it. There is no, there's nobody that comes in to a mafioso family and is green as shit, don't know dick about fucking anything, and they've been in there a year and all of a sudden they're fucking leading the family. Mm-hmm. That shit don't happen, and if somebody came in with that attitude, like, oh, I'm gonna lead this family, I'm gonna knock so and so out and do this and do that, yeah, 90% of the time he ended up in a box floating down the fucking Ohio River. Do I speak from a little experience on, should I say experience? Let's just say I know a lot about the family business. Yeah. To the point that, grandparents left for 2 years from America because the family wanted them gone.
Is there any guys in the Indies that you would like to work with that you haven't?
Fucking Chance Prophet is probably, in all reality, it's probably one of the guys that I could honestly say, I think that me and him, and a lot of it is just because the gimmicks, but I think we could have a lot of fun and could tell a pretty damn good story. But in all reality, I'm not one. I am a mark. Flat out say that. I would love to have an opportunity to fucking work the Briscoes or Samoa Joe or some of those guys that are just the strong style, hard hitting guys. Will that ever happen? Probably not. Will I ever probably work Chance Prophet? No, probably not. Because what's the point in having two guys that are nuts facing each other? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, character or story wise. But I'll be completely honest with you. I can't really think of anybody, like I said, other than really Chance that's straight independent. That I would like to work.
Yeah. Is there any guys that you regret working with?
I have never worked anybody that I regret working with. I have straight up had my ass handed to me from guys, and I've straight up whipped, beat the shit out of people. But I can't really say there's anybody that I have that I've sitting back and go, I wish I'd never done that, or I wish I'd never did that match. Have things happen in matches, have things happen with the marks, after matches. Yeah, I choked out a dude in Evansville, Indiana that was supposed to be a worker, and it's at that point in time, I was like, I probably shouldn't have done that, but shit happens, we learn from it, and that kid never made the mistake that he made that night ever, or I'm sure he has never made it again. But like I said, I can't really. There's a lot of guys in the business that I probably should have just complete beat the donkey shit out of that I didn't. But I mean, we can look back on shit all day long and say, I shoulda, coulda, woulda, but I didn't. So it's, I guess it's neither here nor there.
You have a favorite road story?
Favorite road story? I would guess it would probably have something to do with Apollo and myself and thank you. We Apollo was the guy that got me booked down in Tennessee, and at the point when I was doing all that, I was also and the people that know me are going to go, well, yeah, we knew that, but regular marks ain't going to have any idea. I was a youth pastor in a Pentecostal church, which is the ones that, you know, hug the potbelly stoves and dance with the snakes or whatever. We didn't do that, but that's what everybody thinks of when you say Pentecostal. But so on the Saturday night shows, when we would drive down to Tennessee, you know, it's about a 3.5, 4 hour drive one way. And we would drive down there, you know, do the show. Of course, they were an hour behind us, so that sucked, you know. So we, you know, get out of there at, you know, 10 or 11 o'clock their time, which is 11 or 12 o'clock our time. And then we would, you know, have to go get something to eat, you know. And so then it's freaking, you know, it's 4 o'clock in the morning before, you know, I'm pulling back up to, you know, Barstown or Louisville or wherever I lived at the time. But we were coming home one early Sunday morning, and I'm driving, and which Apollo hasn't made because, you know, he doesn't drive anywhere. But you know, we're coming back, and I lived in Barstown at the time, so I'm going, man, I gotta figure out a way to get Apollo back to Louisville. And at this point, I'm already just dead freaking tired, worn out, exhausted. And so I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do this, how I'm going to do that. Well, along the way home, all of a sudden, it's like, boom, oh shit, I got to go bathroom. So, you know, in Dumb and Dumber, when they're sitting there and he's literally handing him the beer bottles to piss in. Well, it wasn't beer bottles, it was Gatorade bottles. But, you know, so I'm sitting here driving, pissing in a Gatorade bottle. You know, thank God, you know, we didn't get hit by KS or Kentucky State Police or nothing, but opened up the sunroof, boom, chucked him out. I guess you had to be there because it wasn't really, but you know, it's 4:30 in the morning. You gotta get home and then be back up to get, you know, 4 kids ready and blah blah blah, yakety schmackety, to be at church at, you know, 9:30 for Sunday school and blah 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 blah, whole, you know, kit and caboodle. But yeah, I don't know why my brain is just going completely fucking blank. Smart.
Who has the smartest mind for the business that you know?
Tracy Smothers.
Let's talk funny moments in the ring.
Okay. Funny moments in the ring. See, that's the thing with my character. I get to have those all the damn time. Yeah, and literally, Josh just shut up, Heather. Josh just made me snort. Yeah. We ought to do a tag team, you know that? The Josh and Josh Express.
Yeah.
I mean, we should.
Who's training me?
I know this guy, he's a fucking prick, but I bet you he'd cut you a deal.
Well, talk to me after this is over.
Father figure, he'll cheat you up right.
Yeah.
No, like I said, I try to have fun. And with the character, for me, it's easy to do because, you know, I'm nuts. I'm a lost cause. I'm, you know, I'm psycho, delusional, whatever. But I don't know. Me and Sebastian back in the Reckless Abandon days had some fun ones where, you know, kind of pulling a rib where the guy might have thought it was supposed to be. You know, he knew this was going to happen, but then you change it on him. And we had a trainee. We were working for Bobo Brazil Jr. with MCIW. And we myself and Sebastian had the book. You know, we tell them what's going to happen, or you know what we wanted to happen, the whole kit and caboodle. Well, they go out there and do the match. It was me against this trainee, and you know, I'm like, I'll put him over. Of course, don't tell him that, you know. So I do a real nonchalant cover, nothing, you know. And I told him, I said, when I do this cover, I said, I want you to, you know, hook your arms, because we turned this into like where he would almost do like an inverted full Nelson or something, but had him hook it, bloom, and I kicked myself over with my shoulders down. The referee comes over, 1, 2, 3, and Matt was just like, even like looking at the referee going, you know, we got him in the back, ripped his ass up one side and down the other. I was like, you know, why the fuck you hold him down? Da, da, da. Just going off on him. And he looked like, I mean, he was scared to death. And then everybody just started laughing. Which, I mean, I know it's probably not something that, you know, most people are going to go, oh yeah, that's funny. But, you know, if you were there and you knew the kid that we did it to, it was just funny. But I guess it's one of them things you had to be there. And, you know, by our sellout of, you know, maybe 15 or 12 people that we would have at those shows, you know, probably the majority of people never saw it happen.
What do you think is the biggest problem in the indies right now?
How much time do we have?
We got all till you need to leave.
Until I need to leave.
Yeah.
Okay, what do I think the main problem in the indies is right now? Motherfuckers being in my business that don't belong in my business. Because mama has money, or grandma has money, or daddy knew Jim Bob Belushi or something back fucking 150 years ago. These motherfuckers that don't respect the business, don't have no respect for this business, for the guys that have paved the way in this business, for the guys that have fucking did the work to make it possible for, you know, a 38-year-old guy to still go out, you know, every other weekend or whatever, or every weekend if I'm booked or whatever, and have fun and put on a show. But you got all these young kids now, and it goes back to the whole thing like what I was talking about before. When I started, you know, there wasn't no fucking coming in. If bell time was 7 o'clock, your ass better be there by 4. You know, and you're damn sure not going to show up at fucking, you know, after the show was started. You know, I mean, you know, your ass was there. You put in the work. You put in the hours to make the show work. Whether it was, you know, fucking 20 minutes or, you know, a couple hours before bell time, and you're riding up to fucking Walmart to, you know, try to hand out some flyers or try to get, you know, 3 or 4 more people in the seats. But the thing that's wrong with the business today is just that there are guys in this business that don't belong in this business, that did it simply because they either had the money or they wanted to, and then they pay their money, and to them it's just a fucking hobby. It's not something they're passionate about. Mm-hmm. You know, they go out there and do their matches, and then it's fucking, well, we'll see you in, you know, 2 weeks at the next show. You know, it's not, if you're not passionate about this sport, get the fuck out of it. Mm-hmm. If you're not willing to put in the hours, and I don't mean fucking necessarily at the gym, because Lord knows, you know, I ain't been in the gym in fucking forever. But if you ain't willing to put the work in, whether it's, you know, cardio, it's learning how to cut a damn promo, it's learning how to be a good heel or be a good baby face or whatever, you know, and you think because you can do a little flippy dippy thing that, you know, you're going to get everything you want, and then you meet some 5'9", 215-pound guy who respects this business, and he's going to flat out whip your ass.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to stretch you. He's going to make you wish you'd never laced up your tennis shoes and got in the ring.
Have you ever had to shoot on anybody in the ring?
Yeah. We were in Bardstown, Kentucky at the National Guard Armory. And I was doing the Amish gimmick. I was the heel. I come out first. No music, nothing. You know, fucking go out there. And literally the character itself, just me in the Amish get up, the hat, the fucking beard, and the big walking stick, it got over. The heat level, you know, the crowd hated it. Well, my opponent comes to the ring and is a hometown boy from Bardstown, and he's like starts flipping off the crowd, and I'm like, looked over at the ref, I'm like, he's supposed to be baby, right? Yeah. And let me back up about 10 minutes before that happened. We're in the back, and Joe Bailey comes up to me and says, what are you going? He said, hey, Josiah, what are you going over with? I told him. He said, all right, when you put it on him, hook it in. Okay. I'm getting ready to walk out the back. Vic, who was the booker, hey, Josiah, what are you going over with? I tell him. All right, well, when you put it on him, hook it in there real good. Okay. I'm like, all right. So, you know, I go out, well, this kid comes out and does this shit to the crowd, and I'm just like, I looked at the referee, because we were supposed to go like 5 to 7 or something like that. I looked at the referee, I said, it's going to be short. He goes, okay. He goes, I'm following you. All right. So we went for the lockup. Boom. I remember I fucking fed him the knee or something. Picked him up, hit him with the big spin out. Kind of like a rock bottom or book end or whatever the hell you want to call it. As soon as he took the bump from it, I lift up, I hook up the arms, and fucking had him in kind of like a modified $1 Million Dream or Kobe Clutch or whatever the hell you want to call it. Well, when I hooked it, you know, the difference between, and I'm not going to say what I was going to say, but the difference is about this much to oh and ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went about that much. Literally to the point where he is yelling to Joe Bailey, he's shooting on me, Joe, he's shooting on me. He taps out. So, you know, I go to head to the back. I get about halfway to the back, and he goes over and gets on the stick. Which now, mind you, they had a show the following week in Bedford or somewhere out your way, out yonder. But I wasn't going to be there because I was already booked for a show down in Tennessee. And so this dude gets on the microphone and starts talking about this match he wants for next week in Bedford or whatever. And I kind of looked at him and started to walk to the back, and I look up, getting ready to go back into the curtain, and I look up and there's a face there. I'm not going to say who it was. And he's like, take care of that. Okay. So I walked over there. I grabbed him, set the microphone down, and literally this guy looks at me and goes, my God, please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me. Like, I'm not going to hurt you. What are you going to do? I said, you're going to take another bump. And I took him in the ring. I hit him with a choke slam or something, just to lay him out. And I get in the back, and the locker room was about half and half. Or no, not really half, because it was really two guys that were kind of jumping at me, bitching at me over the situation. And you know, once I explained everything, they were kind of like, oh, okay. Nothing was ever said about it. I literally thought at first that that I, you know, maybe they were going to say I took it too far, or you know, whatever. But nothing else was ever said about it. And the guy that I did that to came up to me at a show that I was working, and he's like, "You don't remember me, do you?" I'm sorry, I don't. And he told me who he was, and I was like, okay. You remember that night here in Barstown? Yeah, and it's clicking in my mind finally who this guy is and everything else. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, why'd you do that? You know, man, this is my hometown, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I said, because you're an idiot. I was like, you didn't have any right being in the fucking ring, much less, you know, coming out and fucking drawing heat when I was the heel and you were the babyface. Right. You know, that was the biggest part of me. Yeah, you know, the promoter and the booker both tell me, you know, fucking, you know, lace it up real good on him. But that was the biggest thing, is the fact, you know, you need to know what your role is. You know, if you're a babyface and you come out, you get the big pop, the hey, you smack hands, you kiss babies, you do whatever, you know. If you're the big heel and you go out and you make everybody fucking hate you. But he kind of got it twisted and confused, and you know, got stretched a little bit. And in all reality, there's other ones there, and I can't, and I'm sorry, I cannot remember the two guys' names. I've spent a lot of my wrestling career doing tag team stuff. We did a painted face gimmick down in Tennessee that was called Alpha and Omega, and we literally, for this company down there, we were kind of the guys that when somebody wanted to come in and they wanted to see what you could do, they would put you with me and Chris. And the reason being is because they knew that I was a worker. You know, I'd get in there and actually work. And Chris was a straight shooter. You know, he would straight up fuck go toe to toe, shoot for shoot with, you know, shoot hole for shoot hole with anybody. And I remember one night down there, and I got pissed off at something during the match, and it kind of changed everybody's thing. And they were like, so are we gonna have two shooters on your team? Are y'all gonna be two shooters or something like that? And it was over something stupid that the guy said. You know, some big fucking guy that weighed, you know, 300 pounds wanting to fucking do a moonsault and land on me. No, thank you. No, thank you. After we, you know, literally the whole match, we're beating your ass, and then you're gonna, well, my comeback's gonna be this. Yeah, no. No, sorry. It's not going to happen. This is real life, you know. As much as I like the high flying stuff, you know, I'm old school. I'm Memphis through and through, you know. Because I'm sorry, because I'm not going to go there. Yeah, I'm not going to go there yet. I think next time we're going to have alcohol here. Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right, I'm going to throw some names at you, and you just tell me what you think about them.
All right.
You know, and the first one is Cash Flow.
A brother.
Lennox Norris.
Be completely honest with you, somebody that when I first was around him, I thought he was a complete prick. I thought he was a prima donna, fucking, you know, my shit don't stink type individual. But getting to know him, he's a guy that I consider a brother. He's somebody that I enjoy sitting in a locker room shooting the shit with, or hanging out with or whatever.
Apollo.
Apollo's a brother from another mother. Me and him is shit. Apollo is truly, as far as business-wise, I would say Apollo is probably one of my absolute best friends in the wrestling business. I can't say he's my best friend in the wrestling business, but he is definitely somebody that if I needed something away from wrestling and he was able to take care of it, he would take care of it in a snap of a finger.
All right, what about Pondo?
Pondo. Be honest with you, first time I worked him, I was scared to death. Oh my gosh, I was scared to death. So, first time we, and let me say this, when I started with IWA, like I said, 95, 96, 97, whatever it was, Pondo was, him and Ian were the, you know, the go-to guys on the extreme stuff. So, I came up seeing Pondo do this crazy stuff, taking the scissors to the forehead or the scissors to the arm, you know, it fucking gaping his arm and shit. So I had worked with Pondo on shows before, where I might have, you know, done a little spot with him or did this or whatever. But the first time we actually worked, like I said, I was nervous. And then Too Tough Tony was up there as well, so we ended up coming up with the finish, and it was like it was the superplex sit out or superplex powerbomb. Is that right? Superplex powerbomb, sunset superplex powerbomb. Whatever. Anyway, Pondo's got me up on the thing. Now, mind you, for years, ever since when I broke my arm in '95, I've got problems with my shoulders. Several times would have somebody in the ring doing cross faces, and if you ever see me working a match where I'm throwing cross faces, if I ever throw it and my arm just stops, it's because my shoulder will come out. It'll fucking pop out. Majority of the time, it literally pops out, pops right back in. Won't fucking like kill me. Pain-wise, hurts like a motherfucker. But, well, in that match, my shoulder had fucking popped out and was set up for the gimmick, blah, blah, blah. And literally, they're doing the thing. I take the superplex into a bunch of chairs and, you know, other shit that was in the ring. Well, as soon as I hit, fucking shoulder popped back in place. So I went from almost not doing the spot because my shoulder was out of place to fucking doing the spot and my shoulder comes, you know, goes back into place. But in all reality, Pondo, a mastermind when it comes to wrestling. The man knows more than anybody ever gives him credit for, because 90% of the time all they know him as is a bleeder or somebody's gonna go out there and do hardcore, you know. The guy can actually work, you know. But I can't say anything. I can't say anything negative about him. He's a hell of a dude.
Jimmy Felcher.
Jimmy Felcher. Be honest with you, another person that for the longest time, and I didn't really know him, just had heard stories, but you know, not really anything negative I can say about him. He's definitely a very unique individual, but then again, fucking look at me on a Saturday night when I'm in gimmick. I'm pretty fucking unique. I do remember some of the times us having him up in Austin, but he'd always come off as kind of a guy that was real snug, and for a long time I didn't like that, because I didn't like the fact of going and getting into a match and feeling like I had the shit kicked out of me. You know, I wanted to be able to go do my match and still go party and still go do this or whatever. But through, you know, spending time with him, really getting to know him, he's another one of my brothers. In this wrestling business, you know, we throw around brother a lot. You know, there's a lot of people that just, oh, that's my brother, oh, this, you know, whatever. Well, it's kind of like in real life. You know, we've got, you know, you've got acquaintances, which, you know, we all have way too many of those. You know, we've got friends, you know, which, you know, obviously you've got less friends than you've got acquaintances. You've got brothers, you know, and whether it be brother or sister, whatever. And I don't mean somebody family related to you. I mean somebody by whatever reason is related to you. If you're in public service like I am, you know, there's guys that are on my crew that are family. That you know, we're as tight as fucking who knows what, you know. But and then you know, obviously you've got, you know, you've got legitimate family, you've got this, that, and the other. But in all reality, Jimmy is somebody that I consider a brother. I consider him, you know, I put him in the same spot that I put Apollo, or I put Sebastian. I keep wanting to say Andy, but Sebastian, or you know, Cash Flow, or Dean Gibson, or, you know, any of those guys. RJ Douglas, you know, that's you know, people that are true fucking down to the core, you know, family or whatever.
You want to talk about RJ a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, RJ is actually somebody who never really gets the credit his mind has for this business. Has a lot of really, really good ideas, and is also a realist. Is somebody that looks and sees something and says, okay, if we do this, it's going to look real. We can do this, but it's, you know, he looks at things. He looks at things and looks at it for, you know, if I was a 25-year-old Mark buying a ticket, sitting in the crowd, am I going to believe, you know, that this happened? Am I going to believe that, you know, so-and-so beat so-and-so just by, you know, grabbing his tights, or just by, you know, kicking him in the nuts? You know, he looks at things, like I said, in the same way that I do in a lot of things, where it's real life. It's, this is what we've got. This is the story we want to tell. Now, what do we need to do with this to make this turn into this? And he's, you know, he's real life with it, as far as making things click that need to click. He's probably one of the guys, in all reality, that I spend more time with than anybody else in the wrestling business. And that's not just because, you know, of our situations, but we, you know, if there's something going on and I need to talk to somebody other than, you know, my wife, or, you know, that's usually the person that I'm gonna go to and be like, brother, you know, help me out here. but it's just because we've been around each other for forever, you know, it seems like, and he's just, you know, he's a true, what the definition of the word brother would be. You know, he is that guy that if it comes to blows, he's going to be right there next to you. If it comes to, you know, whatever the situation is, he's that guy that's going to be right there, fucking taking care of you, or, you know, helping you get the help you need. I guess that's how you say it. It sounds kind of stupid, but yeah, you get the point of it.
Yeah.
That's somebody you need to do a video with.
Yeah, I was talking to him the other day about doing one.
Yeah.
What do you love and hate the most about the business?
What do I love and hate the most about the business? Damn. I love that I'm involved in it. That I'm, you know, whether you call me a weekend warrior or whatever, you know, because this isn't what I do for a living. You know, this is, and it's gonna sound stupid. This is what I do for me. This is my Josh time. This is me straight up, you know, not giving a rat's ass about what anybody else thinks. This is when I get to be that guy that I want to be Monday through Friday at work. But, you know, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't do that. Yeah, I end up getting locked up. Because I mean, it's not like you can. You know, I can't go into work tomorrow morning and have a steel chair in my hand, and, you know, the superintendent says something I don't agree with, and I just smash him with the chair. You know, it doesn't really work.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that it gets to alter my reality, even if it's just for a couple hours on a Saturday night. I get to be involved in taking people who might have had the worst week of their life, and they come into a show that I'm working on, and whether it's I make them laugh or I make them so mad that they want to fucking throw their chair at me, but, you know, we kind of get to bring life back into somebody's existence. You know, we get to take people on a you know, a couple hour story ride of, you know, good versus evil, and whether in reality by the time the night's over, you know, it's good winning out or it's evil winning out. But we get the opportunity to take them on that little roller coaster ride, you know, and throw a little loop in there every once in a while, or, you know, throw a curveball in there every once in a while. And in all reality, what do I hate the most about it? Is that I am pretty damn sure it's getting close to being done. You know, I took some time off last year because of my shoulders and stuff, because of a, you know, old injury. Can't really, you know, there's nothing I can do about it. But like I said, I'm a realist. I look at things and I say, this may be what I want to have happen, but I know for a fact that this is probably what's going to happen. I mean, I gotta provide for my family. I gotta take care of my wife and my kids. I gotta do what I gotta do. So that's probably, and I know that, you know, the majority of people probably answer that question with, you know, about stupid promoters or something. But in all reality, it's probably because it's probably the thing I hate about it the most is that I know that it's getting close to being legitimately over with, simply because the body can't, you know, eventually it's gonna wear the body out. And, you know, I'm 38 years old. I don't want to be, number one, I don't want to be fucking 70 years old and still trying to chase that 39. But I don't want to be that guy that's, you know, the old dude in the locker room who's still trying to chase that buzz that he had when he was 25. You know, so I mean, I know, you know, it's not a business you can perform in forever. Yes, it's a business you can be in forever, you know, because there's other things you can do, you know, whether it's writing or ring announcing or whatever, you know, there's other things that you can be involved in. But, you know, realistically, I look at, you know, I might have, you know, a couple more years in me. You know, I wouldn't say much more than that because I don't think my body could take it. I did a lot of stupid shit that I probably shouldn't have done.
Do you have a favorite moment in your career?
Favorite moment in my career? Actually, yeah. Well, I don't know if you really... Yeah, I mean, I guess you would consider that in my career because, hell, I cut a promo after when me and Heather got married. Literally, I cut a promo like right after we said our I do's, and it was like recorded for AP. I guess it was APW at the time.
Was Matt Duck was there?
Yes,
I seen that on
Yeah.
YouTube. Yeah.
yeah, that was. They were actually they showed up. They were getting ready to go to somewhere down in Tennessee to work that they originally wanted me to go, and of course I'm like, I'm getting married that day. I can't. You know, I can't go. But no, in all reality, probably. I can't tell you one that sticks out more than. I can't think of any one that sticks out more than, you know, something else does. Like I said before, anytime I get to go out and put on a show and perform and, you know, feel like I've taken the fans on that ride. I mean, I've held multiple. The hell?
That way.
They're smoking something. You know, I've held a lot of hardcore championships. I've held a lot of like you know, more or less the U.S. title, like the second belt or whatever.
Yeah.
I've held maybe I think 2 or 3. Independent world titles. I don't know why we call them world titles because you're not really putting it. You know, you're not really taking challengers from all over the world. You're in the Middle Tennessee area. You know, with the World Heavyweight Championship, but it only gets defended in Middle Tennessee. So, but you know, or you're in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, with the World Heavyweight title, and the only place it gets defended is in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. You know, it doesn't get defended in even Frankfurt. It's only right. It's that you know, that rat hole of a building. But yeah.
All right. What is your thoughts on Rick Brady?
What are my thoughts on Rick Brady? Okay, let's hang on. What are my thoughts on Rick Brady? Hit on it a little bit earlier. Truth is, you pissed on everybody that helped you fucking build the company you've got, because you got a little money in your pocket or a little shit, whatever, that put money in your pocket. And you completely pissed on fucking all the guys other than the ones that suck your ass to keep their job. So to go from some, and I'm not a person that gets pissed off easy. I'm not a person that holds grudges or whatever. I don't fucking hold heat. I don't care. It's fucking. I don't make my living at this. If I made my living at this and you were taking money out of my wife or my kid's mouth, then yeah, I'd probably fuck you up. But I'm not. This isn't something I do for a living. It puts extra money in my pocket so I can go blow it at a bar or at the boat. Just straight shoot. What's the point? But to go from being somebody who was on every one of your fucking shows, every time you had a damn show, was there, and goes to being, oh, you weren't booked tonight. I wasn't booked. That's news to me. At least you can, fucking do is pick up a damn phone and call somebody and tell them that, oh yeah, you're not booked. Instead of a guy driving fucking 30 minutes out of his way when he could be at home spending it with his wife, I wasn't married then, but with his kids, but I drive all the way up there and, oh, well, we'll find something for you. I never took a fucking red cent from you. I did all the shit I did up there for you and didn't fucking take a damn penny. And was it because you offered or you didn't offer? No, because you never offered. And then you got all these guys that want to suck your ass or lick your balls or play with your taint or something, but you piss on them. From when you started it, you said you wanted to build a company and use local guys to do it. And that lasted about 30 minutes. And then you had all these guys that wanted to come in and work for you, and it became the fucking West Virginia show or the Ohio show, instead of fucking using the guys that help you start your fucking company, build your fucking company. Them guys that drove all the way fucking down from Michigan and everything else never once helped you fucking or anything else. No, that was from all your guys that were right here in the Louisville area and never got shit for it. In my opinion, what goes around comes around. And will I see it happen? Maybe. But eventually, you're going to cross the wrong individual. And when that happens, God have mercy on your soul. Because a lot of the guys around here wouldn't piss on you if you was on fire. And I think that's probably about the most I've said about anybody. Because, there's a thing in doing business and doing bad business. And if you have a core group of guys that are fucking doing all the hard work for you, and then you just one by one piss, no, I don't need you. No, go, just go. But then yet you use some fucking goof off who hit a fucking kid in the crowd, and you're okay with that. I don't know. It's fucking stupid.
What's your favorite pro wrestling woman as a fan?
As a fan, the feud between two of them. One bit would be the feud between Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and the Macho Man. Classic fucking storylines. Just doesn't get any better in storyline wise. And then the classic feuds with Jerry Lawler and Austin Idol. I was always a huge fucking Austin Idol mark. Just from the way he carried himself, the whole kit and caboodle. And I know a lot of people said he was an asshole, he was this one. I was a mark. But between those two, the Austin Idol and Lawler thing was the thing that as a kid made me think that all wrestlers didn't have to be 6'4" and weigh 280 pounds of solid rock. That somebody like Lawler, who, looked like a normal individual, didn't look like a fucking rugrat on steroids, looked like a normal guy, could do it. And then, of course, Austin Idol was a little more built or whatever, but the stuff they did down in Memphis, and on the loops, coming to the gardens here or to the Coliseum in Evansville, as a kid to look at it, it's like, shit, it's fucking beautiful. It's poetry in motion, which is something that we use probably more than we should, but in all reality, it's just that is absolute poetry in motion to watch how they would take a crowd and just take them up to the point where they're about ready to fucking blow that load and then drop them off the edge, and I mean, even with the Macho Man and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, I'll go back to even Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and and Rick Rude. Some of the stuff they did, pushing the envelopes at the time, with Rick Rude coming out with Steamboat's wife's face on his, in his crotch and shit. But I mean, just absolute classic moments. I'm not a person, like I said, I was never really a Hulkamaniac, so business-wise, that thing there was the thing that changed everything. That was the thing of, you don't have to be the biggest or the baddest or whatever, like when, WrestleMania 3 when Hogan fucking picked him up. But yes, I mean, it would probably be between those three.
Okay. How do you want to be remembered when you retire?
I want to be remembered as a guy who, whether it was 10 people in the crowd or 1,000, I want to be the one that they say, you know what, he would go out, he would perform the same for 25 people as he would for, 2,500. I want to be the guy that the young guys talk about, when they're helping somebody along the way, 15, 20 years from now. And they say, if it wasn't for Josiah Caine pulling me to the side and telling me some of these things that I'm telling you, I'd have never known. That's the guy I want to be. I want to be the one that I don't fucking want the titles or the recognition. I don't need it. That's not something I'm not worried about fucking being a 37-time independent wrestling champion. I don't care. Yeah. Because I'm going to put on the same match, or not the same match. I'm going to put the same intensity into the match, whether I'm jerking the curtain or I'm in the main event. You're not. It's not going to be a difference between. Well, this week, Josiah, you're on number 2, so you got to kind of, bring the crowd up a little bit because number 1 didn't. No, I'm going to work the same. I'm going to put the same intensity, the same whatever into it, regardless whether I'm 1st or 5th,
Yeah. In closing, do you have any last words or anything you want to say to your fans?
Drugs are bad. No, all I'll say is to the true fans, thank you. To to the boys who actually stood up for somebody when they were trying to be trash bagged. Thank you. And you know, like I said, we'll ride it till the wheels fall off. And you know, in my feeling, in my opinion, it's, you know, probably within the next year or two. My old ass can't do it anymore. But you know, it is what it is. We'll go out and do the shows and get our ass beat, and then go home and bitch about it and get up and go to work on Monday morning.
Thanks, man.
No problem.